right. Now tell me this. We talked about the anti-settlement law earlier in the term when we were into the Texas Revolution. Does that relate to what we're talking about now?
Yes, that's it exactly. The majority didn't agree with the rulers, and they were justified.
Bernie, what do you think?
Oh, I think I don't remember what the anti-settlement law was.
Larry.
It was a law disputed in 1830 when the Mexican government tried to stop more settlement, and the Texans wouldn't stop. Led to a whole lot of fighting.
Did they have the right to refuse? After all, it was a law.
Yeah, that's right. It was a law.
Well, so what? It was a bad law.
Oh, so you think if a law is bad, you can disobey it, huh?
Right.
Hey, man, wake up.
Mr. Dixon?
Charlie.
They didn't think, they knew. The Texans proved it.
Sure did. They won the revolution, didn't they?
You're a little late, aren't you, Jason?
That's what I kept telling Mr. Casey, but he didn't pay no attention.
Well, if he had to go to the vice principal's office, must have been some reason.
Yeah, he thought it was one.
Okay, where were we?
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Oh, Pam, you said that the early settlers proved that it was a bad law by winning. Does that mean that if they had lost, it would have been a good law? Oh, thank you. Charlie, Mr. Casey wants to see you.
Right now?
That's what it says. Larry, you had your hand up? Larry.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay, we'll continue this discussion tomorrow.
I'm sorry I was late today, Mr. Dixon.
Well, I have to admit you did spend a long time at Mr. Casey's office. Can I help?
Yeah, you can help me catch a fiend. Somebody told Casey I was in the chemistry lab making perfume. Now I got 2 weeks detention.
Perfume in the chem lab?
Yeah, see, it's this little chick, you know, and I've been making perfume for her, and it was a little accident.
Little accident?
It wasn't much of an explosion, and I cleaned it all up. But I didn't think anybody was around. But somebody told Casey.
Maybe Casey saw it happen.
No, it wasn't no one there. There's so much thinking going on in this school, man. You gotta wait in line for Casey to get at you.
The traffic in and out of his office is rather brisk.
Brisk ain't the word for it. It's congested. And when I find out who's responsible for this, I'm gonna pop some fink upside his head.
Suppose you hit the wrong guy by mistake. Jason, you may find out that revenge is not as sweet as you think it is. Take it easy, okay? Arnie?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dixon.
What's the matter?
I'm working nights. See, I got into some trouble and I'm trying to make it up.
What kind of trouble?
Well, I had to finish my biology project and I'm trying to do a real good job. So I borrowed a microscope from the lab.
Oh, boy.
I was gonna bring it right back. It was stolen from my car. Well, I got a job right away. And only one more week and I'll have all the money to pay it back.
Has anybody missed it yet?
No, it's kept in a special case. Only advanced students are allowed to use it. Please don't tell Mr. Casey. I've got a scholarship hanging on my grades, Mr. Dixon.
I know. One more week.
That's it. And believe me, I've learned my lesson.
I hope you have.
Now, you said you saw the suspect hanging around the hall outside the chemistry lab at the time in question, right?
Right. But I was at the end of the hall.
Nevertheless, you said he was a male Caucasian about the age of 16, right?
Right. And he was wearing a red shirt.
Hey, Bernie got a red shirt.
Well, so do you, man.
Well, I ain't no male Caucasian, brother, or haven't you noticed?
Some people will use anything for an alibi.
Oh, it wasn't Bernie. This boy had hair like... hair.
So what have I got?
Never mind, man. We got business to take care of.
Hey, everybody. everybody got it already.
What's that,
Oh,
Nevada?
look, got 5 noses, 3 eyes, 6 hairdos, and 2 mouths.
What about the ears?
Oh, I knew I forgot something.
Never mind. Hey, dig. Now, this is what is called identikit. All we do is put the spare parts together till we make up Helen's suspect.
Okay, here's copies of our guide. Find them.
Poor guy.
Find them.
Okay.
Find them.
Hey, Jason.
What's happening, Victor?
Hey, I sure dug the way you played in that basketball game last week.
Thanks, man.
Hey, you want to get some lunch or something?
Oh, man, I got some business to take care of. I'll see you later.
Hey, Arnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great report you did in Miss Johnson's class.
Oh, yeah? Thanks.
Hey, I was just gonna get some ice cream. Do you want some?
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Save it, man. I got it.
Casey, Mr. Walker.
Hey?
Casey, what's going on? The traffic between my class and your office is starting to look like a freeway.
Well, maybe you ought to keep a closer eye on your class.
It's not that easy. You got them coming and going so fast, I may need a revolving door.
Something I ought to know about? Oh, no. Nothing I can't handle. Pete, let's have lunch.
I can't. I got something to do. I'll see you later.
Okay, but I do want to see you your first free period, okay?
Okay.
Excuse me. Arnie? I want to see you.
Casey is strict, yes. Hard-nosed, okay. But I don't know about unfair, Alice.
Well, he's unfair to me.
Why?
Because I'm going to have the best disciplined bunch of failing students in this school. He keeps interrupting my classwork, pulling them out of class.
Now that's unfair.
Yeah. What's this? Mutton and aspic, I think.
How can you tell?
Liz McIntyre, some of this happens to be very good food.
Yeah, well, which is and which ain't?
Alice, is this the first time you substituted in home ec?
Well, yes, but I think I'm developing quite a little talent for it.
Well, maybe we can have lunch again when you're sure.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Thank you very much.
Arnie, what's the matter?
Mr. Casey knows all about the microscope. I'm on probation, and it'll probably go on my record. You're the only one I told.
Arnie, I never said a word.
I trusted you, Mr. Dixon, and you turned me in.
Pete? You just drove past your stop. Don't we have an appointment right now?
Oh, yeah, I know, but I gotta go see Casey about something important. Can I meet with you later?
You can meet with me later, but be a little gentle with him, will you, Pete? He's delicate.
Don't worry, I only plan to ask him a few questions.
I know about Arnie. Have you tried talking to the kid first?
Yeah, but it didn't do any good. Now I want to find out from Casey where he's been getting his information.
You think he's going to tell you?
I don't know, but I'm sure going to try and find out.
Pete, if Casey's out of line, that's my concern. I'll handle it.
The trust of those kids is my concern.
Pete, I'll handle it. Come on. Let's keep our appointment.
Why do I get the feeling that you know everything that goes on in this school?
Because I do.
Man, if you knew what you was talking about, you wouldn't know what you was talking about.
I'm telling you, everybody knows.
And I'm telling you got the wrong cat. Mr. Dixon don't need to be sneaking around.
No. Doesn't everyone say we don't trust anyone over 30? Well, he's a teacher over 30, isn't he?
Oh, no, look, that might sound right, but I can't go for that.
Here's Arnie. He'll tell you. Hey, these kids been spreading the word that Mr. Dixon turned you in. Tell him the truth, man.
He did turn me in.
Okay, break it up. Okay, everybody take a seat. Yesterday when the bell rang, we were discussing laws. Do you ever think that there's a legitimate reason to disobey a law? Nancy. Didn't you start to say something yesterday?
I've been thinking a lot about what we said, and it really connects with what's happening now. It's relevant, you know.
Is it? How, Charlie? Thanks, Jason, but I'd like to hear from someone else. John? Emmeline? Arnie?
First, we sprinkle in a little of this spray powder.
Ooh, what's it smell?
That's adult roses. It's been in everything in the chemistry lab. Oh, Helen, you better be good getting in your place now.
Okay, good luck.
Cool. Be cool.
Who you got for suspects?
I got it narrowed down to Charlie, Sam, and Arnie.
Arnie? But wasn't he one of the victims?
You know a better way to get the suspicion off yourself? Now, that Charlie always wearing dark glasses. What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
Now, if you ask me, that Sam is really the one to watch, man.
How come?
Because he look guilty all the time.
Well, maybe he's just scared because you keep following him around all day.
Never mind that, man. Let's get set up, okay?
Okay. Now, if the oven's lit and the suspects are deployed outside, then what?
Then when you set this oven off, man, pow!
Wait a minute. Why do I set it oven off?
Because you're the right type.
What makes me the right type?
Because you're smaller than me. Anyway, it's about time. Good luck, man. Good luck.
Good luck.
Hey, Jason. What are you doing? Will you wait till they get here? They're coming, man. They're coming. They're coming.
Oh, no! Jason and Bernie fighting! Jason and Bernie are fighting!
Bernie, you overdoing it.
Who's overdoing it? You're killing me.
Oh, look, it's Larry! Boy, is he gonna get in trouble. Let's get out of here.
That was beautiful, man.
I thought you said nothing would happen.
Nothing did. The oven's fine.
Well, my eyebrows aren't. They're gone.
You're right, man. One of them made a beeline for Casey's office.
Did you get there in time to see who it was?
I sure did, and it wasn't one of your suspects.
Hey, Victor.
Oh, hi, Jason. Can I get you something?
You already did, man. 2 weeks detention.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you know as well as I do, man, what I'm talking about.
I don't. What's the matter with you?
Don't jive, man. I want to know why.
Jason, I'm sorry.
Man, you some kind of a weird two-timing dude. Go around buying people everything you see in sight, letting your light shine all over the place. But the first chance you get, you break to the vice principal office, and you sell out. And I want to know why you do this, man.
Well, Jason, see, I like you, and I wanted you to like me. Ever since I came to school, I've been trying to make friends, but it's hard for me. I'm just not like you.
You still haven't answered my question, man. Why'd you think to Casey?
Well, I got in trouble, just like you did. Casey said he'd let me off if I'd help him out. I didn't want to do it. He made me do it, Jason. He hired me.
Casey hired him?
That's what he said.
Excuse me.
She needs help, not punishment. Her home life is in a mess. Why don't you let me talk to her?
All right, if you want to give it a try, I'll hold off. Is that the last of them?
That's it.
Casey, I want to talk to you.
Well, you seem to be upset, Mr.
Did you hire Victor O'Brien as an informer?
No, I did not.
He said you did.
Get Victor O'Brien in here, please. Well, you went for it again, didn't you, Dixon? These kids can tell you anything, you'll believe it.
You didn't answer my question. Have you been using him as an informer?
In a manner of speaking, yes. But I never hired anyone. When a boy comes to me with information, if it'll help keep order in this school, I use it.
You may keep order, but what about his character and self-esteem?
You don't sit in this office, Pete. I've got a job to do and judgments to make. I got to worry about kids parking illegally and other kids pushing speed. Now, I don't need or care for informers about parking. But if I can save a kid from an overdose of narcotics or a pregnant girl from committing suicide, I'll take that kind of information from anyone. Now, would you rather I didn't?
I'd rather you found another way.
Like what?
I don't know, but there's got to be some kind of way to be able to...
Come in. Victor, did I ever hire you or force you to tell me anything? Well, did I?
No, Mr. Casey.
Satisfied? All right, Victor, you can go now.
All right, he lied. But they all don't lie. Some would like to tell the truth if there was an atmosphere of trust which your methods prevent.
Dixon, will you never learn? There's a whole world...
Stop it! Look, neither of you is going to be convinced. If a life's at stake, sure, you have to do anything to save it. But at the same time, you can't go around turning students against each other. You can't make them live with the suspicion that any and everything they do is going to be reported. Discipline is fine, but not as a tool to destroy trust.
Excuse me, but it looks like there's going to be trouble. You better come quick.
So what's it gonna be?
Man, that's what you call touch and go.
If anybody touched me, I've been gone.
Jason, how come you did that?
Something Mr. Dixon said.
What?
He said you gotta figure out why some people do something. And I think I figured you out, man.
Yeah, well, Jason, I lied to you, too.
I know you did.
You do? Well, how?
I got you all figured out in my head.
Yeah, but why wouldn't...
To make me feel good, man. See, I'm the cat that really figured out it was you. And I don't want to be responsible for you getting leaned on when I'm not around to watch out for you.
Don't know what to say.
Yeah, well, I do. You know, those guys are in there, and they're going to come after us. Can we please go? Thank you very much.
Long day, huh?
Mr. Dixon, I just paid off the microscope. $72.90. I'm still on probation, but it's not going on my records.
That's great, Arnie. Arnie, do me a favor, will you? From now on, do your biology projects in the lab.
You bet.
See you.
Hey, Arnie.
Yeah?
Hey, I just wanted to tell you that I'm sorry for what I did. If there was any way I could make it up to you, I would.
Okay, forget it.
Hey, you want to go get something to eat? Come on, I'll buy. That is, do you want to go get a pizza with me? Yeah, I'm kind of hungry myself.
You know, it's been a long day, but it's been a good day.
Yeah, I feel better, too. Are you hungry?
Now that you mention it, you buying?
Who, me?
No. That's what I like about you, Pete. You're so secure.
See ya, Harry.
Moving slower, the clocks must be turning faster. All right. Yes. Yes, Pete. I said I'd get them. Library? Sure, it's right on the way. Oh, there's plenty of time. Okay.
Hey, Liz! Wait up a minute.
Oh, hi, Alice. I gotta run.
What's the rush?
I have an hour of work to do before school begins.
You didn't make it.
My head knows that, but my feet won't stop trying. Morning.
Oh, hi.
Is it tickets?
Tickets.
Here's your book.
Thank you. You know something? You are a very special lady.
Thank you. I'm also a very hassled lady.
See you later. Bye, Alice.
Oh, bye.
You know, I had the kind of morning you wouldn't believe. First, the alarm didn't go off. Then the coffee boiled over. Then my toast burned. So if I was a little short when you called, I'm sorry.
Look, Liz, can we talk about it later? I got an important meeting.
You have an important meeting. I have an office full of students waiting for me right now. A total caseload of 375 as of yesterday. 14 college recommendations to write, 3 classes to visit, and 4 parents to counsel. And a boy whose heart I have to break when I tell him he bombed out on the SATs, and you have an important meeting to go to?
I guess we both do. See you later.
You're not recommending me for college. Why?
Because, Craig, college isn't the best answer for everyone. Look, there's some really fine vocational schools. I thought you might be interested in training for a job in computer technology. Of all your test results, your math scores were the highest.
Well, how bad were they?
Not so hot.
Do I get to see the results?
Sure.
Below average, huh? Okay, I'll have to work harder. I'll bring my grade average up.
Craig, tell me, how many hours a day do you study?
3, sometimes 4.
You work very hard to keep that C average, don't you? Craig, I said before, college isn't the best answer for everyone. It also isn't the only answer, so there's no need to feel inadequate.
No, you don't know my family. I mean, they're great. They don't hassle me or anything, but it's hard for them. You see, I'm a real oddball in my family. They're all very smart people. And who knows where I came from? Listen, my father says you can set your mind to do whatever you want to. So here's where it's at for me. I have to go to Harvard.
Harvard?
Harvard Divinity, where Emerson went, and my grandfather, and my uncle, and my father. I want to work for the Lord, Miss McIntyre. I want to be a minister.
Okay. We learned from history that even honest men can become involved in dishonest manipulation.
The only thing you gotta wonder is how come a United States president could be so uncool?
Yeah, when Grant was in the army business, he called the shots, and he was really together. But then he became president and blew his thing.
Why?
Because he trusted some crooked politicians, that's why.
No. It was because he was a poor little lamb who had lost his way.
Oh, well, Crazy Judy strikes again, huh?
I take it that you have something you wish to contribute?
I find this whole discussion so incredibly mind-blowing that there's nothing that I could possibly add to make it more interesting. So I think I'll just sit right here and learn.
Judy, I'd like to see you after class.
Anything, you little hot desires, big boy.
Hold it. Read pages 417 through 420. And I'll be expecting to see some of those term reports. They're all due in at the end of the week. The rest of you can go. Did you want to see me about something, Bernie?
Oh, no, I was just leaving. I had...
Far out.
Judy, your audience is gone, so you can cut the act. I think it's about time that you and I had a little talk.
I can't stop thinking about Craig Evans. You know, there isn't a student in the school who tries harder than he does. But I've tested him 18 different ways. He's just not equipped to compete academically.
Craig Evans, you mean Reverend Evans' kid?
Yes. He wants to get his degree at Harvard Divinity. It's a family tradition. But I don't think he could make it through junior college.
So he wants to be a minister. Does it have to be Harvard Divinity?
My point exactly. I have a friend who's doing Christian missionary work with the street people here in Los Angeles. And I thought maybe it might give Craig another way to go if I took him to his house.
A good idea.
Whose house, your friend?
No, he just works there.
Where?
His house.
It's the name of a teenage Christian nightclub. Some of our kids have been going there.
It's really okay, Mr. Kaufman. I know all about it. They only serve soft drinks. It's very nice.
Well, it sounds okay to me. Do you think it'll do any good?
I don't know. It might freeze thinking some. I mean, where's it written that you need a college degree to do the work of the Lord?
Miss McIntyre, I want to go on record about Mr. Gruzinski and driver's ed.
Liz, can I talk to you a minute? Excuse me.
Yeah, sure. He doesn't like the way I back up. My boyfriend taught me how to back up.
I know you had an appointment with Judy Shore, but I came to tell you not to wait. She's gone.
Gone?
Yeah, I was talking to her. She just got up and left. We looked all over for her, but can't find her.
Well, were you talking to her or counseling her, Pete? I mean, why didn't you send her to me?
Well, I had a situation come up, and I decided to handle it right there on the spot. There was no point in bothering you.
No point bothering me, huh? It's all right to bother me to pick up theater tickets and library books, but when it comes to the work I do, you don't want to bother me?
Liz, don't you think you're overreacting a bit?
No, I don't.
Well, excuse me. I think I better go tell Mr. Kaufman.
Yeah, sure, Pete.
To be truly human is to be conscious of human weakness, but confident that it can be overcome. People are lonely because they build walls instead of bridges.
The man who wants to save his life will lose it, but the man who loses his life for my sake will find it.
Helps to run the place.
Is she a minister?
No, but she ministers.
practice life.
Well, look at it this way, Craig. This isn't a congregation. It's people. And this isn't a church. It's a house of celebration. Can you dig that?
I don't know. What do you do here exactly?
Well, we're just trying to close up the spaces. Say, do you have any time after school?
After school? Maybe. Why?
Inez, you don't give a boy a chance to sit down before you put him to work.
Well, we're not going to get any of it done standing around here. So, come back, Craig. And as for you, don't worry. I'll be back. All right, you better, girl. Or you're going to hear from me. If I can't get to it, I'll get the Lord on it.
All right.
Well, goodbye. Listen, feel free to stop by anytime.
Bye, Mike, and thanks a lot, Eve.
Right.
Bye, Reverend Holloway. It is Reverend, isn't it?
Yes.
I wasn't sure.
See you, Liz.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, say it. Tell me what you're thinking.
Miss McIntyre, I know what you're trying to do. I thank you for it. But it won't work. This isn't how I want to spend the rest of my life. This is not a church.
Look, if a church is supposed to be a place to love and to serve something higher than yourself, then it doesn't have to be a building. It doesn't have to be a place. Couldn't it just be you?
I don't know how to do it all by myself. I need the trappings, and I want them. I want to be like my dad.
Pete?
Oh, hi.
Hi. Did you find someone to go to concert with last night?
Nope, I gave the tickets to Jerry Gerard.
Oh. Pete, I felt you slighted me professionally, and I was a little annoyed at you. I'm sorry.
Why the change?
Something I heard last night. People build walls instead of bridges.
Yeah, I noticed.
You know, I've been trying all morning to reach Judy's mother. She travels.
2 hours from now, the police will get a missing persons report from an aunt who didn't even know the child was missing until we told her.
What are you doing?
I'm ripping off some food, stupid. What does it look like I'm doing?
Oh, here. You're really hungry.
Yeah, well, you would be too if you hadn't eaten since yesterday.
Why?
Hey, man, why don't you leave me alone? Don't you have a class you have to go to or something like that?
Yeah, I'm cutting it.
Join the club. I'm cutting the whole semester. You know what? This isn't a bad place to hang out. I slept here last night.
How come?
Well, they lost my reservation at the Hilton. Hey, man, you really are dumb.
That's what they keep telling me.
Look, man, don't get all bent out of shape over it. Look, I want to split this crummy town, and I'm busted. Can we come?
I know you. You have Mr. Dixon's history class in English with Miss Johnson.
Oh, great. I'm trying to split, and he's giving me my whole curriculum. Look, fella, all I said was, do you want to run away with me? Well, it figures. I just thought maybe you might have a watch that we could pawn or something. I'll see you around.
Wait. I don't know what's bugging you. But could it be that bad? Please tell me about it.
You got a month?
Got an hour? What's your name?
Crazy Judy. What's yours?
Dumb Craig.
Well, you see, I've got this plastic doll who likes to call herself Mother. And I've got this aunt who's really Adolf Hitler in drag. And I've got a sister somewhere. I don't know if she's
ever get the feeling that you can see things that other people can't see?
Not very often. I envy you that, a gift.
Some gift. You walk around and you see all the creeps in the world. They're nice, phony, respectable faces. You just want to smash them because they're so plastic. Because they all lie.
Everybody doesn't lie, Judy. My parents don't.
You'll find out.
No, they don't. Mr. Dixon doesn't. Miss McIntyre doesn't.
Huh? Biggest phony of them all. She's always so perfect.
What's wrong with that?
It's just not real, man.
God's love is perfect. It's very real.
Somebody tell me why I'm still here. I don't believe this.
Just believe him. Don't run away, Judy. I have someplace I'd like to take you to tonight.
Judy? So you're back, huh? Who says I ever left? I'll let you know when I decide whether I'm here or not.
She's here.
Okay, so where do I go now? Jail? Detention? What?
Well, why don't we start with my office, okay? I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Well, you blew it, crazy. You should have left when you could.
I'll tell you what you really are. You're smart, angry, hurt, and also kind of dumb. Which is to say you're human like the rest of us. So why don't you try something different? Show us the real you. If you get bored, you can always go back to being crazy Judy.
Join the world of the straights and end up like Miss McIntyre, right?
Well, is that really so bad?
Well, you're not the most terrific lady in the whole world, but you're a lot better than I thought you were.
Thanks, Judy.
You're better than my mother and Adolf Hitler, at any rate. Hey, I have 19 apologies to make to Mr. Kaufman. Can I go now?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, listen, I know. I'm going.
Pete, something just occurred to me. You didn't neglect to call in my professional services. Judy refused to see me, right?
That's right.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
If a student refused to see Mr. Kaufman, you would tell him, right?
You're a hard lady to please.
I'll work on it.
Miss Hogarth. Can I have a late pass, please?
You're Ken Hayashi, right? Mm-hmm.
Second time this week.
Fourth time. Can I have a late pass?
Well, I'm looking for it. Wait, here they are. There you are.
Thanks. This is a hall pass. Oh. Can I just have a note?
Oh, but yes, if I could find my pencil, I'll write you a note.
And the populist movement became important in the late 19th century with small farmers and businessmen taking on what they saw as a ripoff by the big companies. Well, the same thing is happening today in the consumer market, with Nader, Bansoff, and others taking on the so-called establishment.
Mr. Dixon, it's an extremely difficult task, historically speaking, to buck City Hall.
And you don't think that's changing?
They want you to think it's changing.
If you hang in there, you can get some response. Because today, consumer has a better chance than he's ever had before.
No way, Mr. Dixon. You shove at the establishment, it just lets you shove. It wears you down, then it wipes you out.
Be more specific. Have you been wiped out?
I got a new motorcycle. Since I got it, I've never walked so much in my life.
You gotta see him to believe it, Mr. Dixon. Crazy leg Hashi.
What's the hang-up with your bike?
It conks out all the time.
What about your guarantee?
The day after it expired, they told me it was a major overhaul. $170.
Why don't we all go out and take a look at that bike, Mr. Dixon, since it's what we're talking about?
You wouldn't be trying to hustle me to cut class short, would you?
For 10 minutes? 15, maybe, but not 10.
Hey! Hey, let me try, man.
The dealer wouldn't help you out at all, huh?
Mr. Nagel? Oh, he was very friendly. He offered to let me trade in on a more expensive model.
Why don't you contact the manufacturer or write a letter to the president of the company?
I did, in Japanese. My father translated it for me. Tagato Motors in Tokyo. And I sent a copy to the American distributor. I touched all the bases, Mr. Dixon, and came up empty.
Well, any ideas, group?
A class project.
What you think, Mr. Dixon?
I think a class project might be very interesting.
Well, who are you going to hit first?
The Chamber of Commerce, the Business Guidance Bureau.
The mayor?
City councilmen and our state legislators.
We're gonna knock them off one by one.
Bernie, point that thing the other way. You're dangerous enough without it.
What they're doing, Mr. Kaufman, is getting copies of Ken's bill of sale and his guarantee so they can do something about that Mr. Nagel, who won't fix the motorcycle when he obviously should.
Is that right?
The last copy. All I did was put paper in.
I thought we got a new copier.
This is the new one.
Do we have a guarantee?
It just expired.
You should get the invoice and the guarantee and any other pertinent papers and make copies and...
Miss Johnson, what do you suggest we make copies on? Call me if it speaks again.
Here's a copy of Ken's bill of sale and guarantee, Mr. Dixon.
Well, thank you. You guys started the campaign already?
Right now, man, we're gonna do a number on a lot of heads.
See you later.
Pete, I'm glad you're doing this.
Well, actually, they're doing all the legwork. I'm just sort of advising.
Well, the thing with the motorcycle is Ken needs it for work this summer.
Where's he working?
At an electronics plant 40 miles away. But it's a very good job, and he needs the money for college next year. Without it, he doesn't go.
What about a scholarship?
I've got a partial scholarship lined up for him, but that's the best I could get.
Where'd he get the job?
Oh, I looked up an old graduate.
You've been busy, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Thanks for walking me home. You want some coffee?
Why not?
Okay.
Isometrics. 45 seconds a day. Change your life in 4 days. Does that mean I have to get a new tennis partner? No, I tried it long enough. It's not for me. How long you been doing it? 45 seconds. Listen, the reason I called you in, I wanted to ask you about Ken Hayashi and your consumer project. Kids are really digging in. So I gathered. I just got a call from John Kirk, our state assemblyman. Why, was he complaining? Oh, no. He was lauding the democratic process, and incidentally himself. You know, I have never liked that guy. I could be wrong. He is on a panel the kids got together along with some people from the Business Guidance Bureau and the city's consumer's office. Oh, that sounds good. Look, if they're doing it good with the motorcycle, see what they can do about our copy machine.
But, Mrs. Crane, the question is, can the city consumer's advocate get Mr. Nagel to honor his guarantee as he should have?
Yeah, I'll give Ken his bread back. He ain't rolling, man.
What?
He ain't rolling.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean. Well, as I've said, our very small staff is very concerned in this area, especially in effectuating compliance. But I believe that Mr. Caruso would have some input here.
Oh, yes, I do. The Business Guidance Bureau has sent a strong letter of inquiry to Mr. Nagel and a copy to the manufacturer suggesting that if the facts are as you state, Mr. Nagel might very well reconsider his position.
Or he might not.
Oh, well, there's always that possibility. But you must remember, he has to operate in a business-like manner, or he won't be in business long. Now, I believe you said he did offer to repair the motorcycle at cost.
$170. It might as well be $1,700. It's a rip-off.
Well, from your point of view. But we haven't heard from his point of view yet.
And when are we going to get that?
I've written to Mr. Nagel inviting him to attend an informal inquiry meeting.
And if he don't come?
Well, I could always write again.
Mr. Kirk, very seriously, what can you do about the situation?
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for inviting me here today. I can offer you, all of you, an opportunity to contact your Retail Affairs Committee, of which I happen to be vice chairman.
And they'll straighten Mr. Nagel out?
More than that. We're aiming for legislation to guarantee that dealers' guarantees will guarantee.
Oh, what do we do?
You write, and you ask to be put on the agenda for the committee's next public hearing.
When is that?
In September. And that testimony will be carefully considered in the committee study session.
When is that?
In November. And that session should produce a bill, which will go to the Rules Committee for floor action in January.
What's January?
Next January. Now, of course, there's always the possibility of a delay there, but with a little push, and I'd be happy to do some pushing, we can get that bill on the floor by March, say, or April at the latest. Then after the floor debate, it'll come up for a vote.
Mr. Kirk, I need wheels now, not in 2 years.
Eventually, things do get done, but in the meantime, we must make haste slowly. We just have to learn to be patient.
Seems like I heard that before. Somewhere.
Hi, Pete.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Where's your lunch?
I'm not eating lunch. I noticed a few badly placed bulges in the mirror this morning.
Oh.
Well, you know, I saw Ken Hayashi earlier. He's pretty discouraged.
I don't blame him. Nagel never answered anybody's letters yet.
I really thought something more would come out of that meeting.
I did too.
I think what you're going to do is marvelous.
You do?
Sure, I hate to see anybody getting away with what that Nagel's getting away with.
Well, I had an idea this morning, and I mentioned it to Alice. I thought since Ken's father doesn't speak much English, you should go down and talk to that Nagel character yourself.
And when, might I ask, did you intend to suggest that I do that? After we drove up to the place?
We? Hey, going together, that's even better. You can give them both barrels.
Oh, hi there. I'm Bud Nagel. Glad to meet you folks.
Pete Dixon.
Mr. Dixon, a pleasure. Mrs. Dixon? And speaking of pleasure, why don't you just take a little look at some of the greatest open sesames to fun known to mankind. Well, what can I show you? How about this one right here? It's a dandy little machine.
Do you have a guarantee on all of your motorcycles?
Pete, you don't mind if I call you Pete? Nagel Motors has what we call our beryllium alloy pledge, twice the strength of steel. Short of an accident or driver-caused damage, you are fully covered for a full 30 days. Muffler, battery, hand grips, mirror, wheels, and spokes. Well, you just name it, you're covered.
Engine.
Engine?
We're from Walt Whitman High, Mr. Nagel. We're Ken Hayashi's teachers.
Pete, that's kind of sneaky, but that's okay. You're worried about the boy. Now, I like that.
Well, Ken bought a bike from you. It doesn't work, and I don't like that.
Well, now, I don't know what you folks have been told, but come on over here. Let's look at the facts. It's Hayashi, right? Oh, here it is, yeah. Oh, Hayashi, that kid bought a 350cc Tagato. Oh, yes, I remember. And I do remember him well because he picked it out himself, he looked it over, he test drove it. He was very happy.
He was happy because he didn't know what was wrong with it.
I don't either, ma'am. He came back here with a fouled-up engine and a sad story.
Mr. Nagel, Ken Hayashi is a very hard-working kid and completely honest.
And you trust him. Now, that's fine, Pete. I like that. And I wish that I could say the same thing. But after all, I'm in business. I've got responsibilities. I've got a payroll to meet, taxes to pay, that incidentally do support your school. So, you see, I have got to operate in a business-like manner.
Mr. Nagel, it might be good business for you to honor the guarantee all the way.
Okay, I'll tell you what I do. I'll make you a deal. Now, I really shouldn't, but, well, you're nice folks. We'll repair his engine at cost.
Mr. Nagel, I think you already offered Ken that deal.
I did? Well, then, now, that just goes to show you I'm consistent. Now, I can't be any fairer than that, can I, Pete? Look, you say hello to Ken for me and tell him what I said, and as long as you're here, why don't you look around? You might see something you like. Excuse me. Hi there. I'm Bud Nagel.
In about 2 seconds, you're going to see a man run over by his own motorcycle.
Modern art, right?
Oh, modern rip-offs, Miss Johnson.
I don't get it.
What is this?
A nail.
Wrong. It's the world's smallest portable coat hanger.
See, we've been doing research on mail order ads and come on junk letters.
The public just gobbles them up.
Dig this insect trap. No battery, no moving part, hold still.
An easily stored lung exerciser.
Boy, there ought to be laws protecting people against this sort of jip. Does Mr. Dixon know about these things?
It was his idea for us to look into it.
Oh, listen. What happened yesterday when he and Miss McIntyre went down to the motorcycle place? Really?
The best thing Ken can do with that junkie bike is burn it, as in a protest.
You know, I saw a news program the other night, and someone who bought a bummer of a car painted it like a lemon and drove it past the place where he bought it to embarrass the dealer into doing something about it. And...
Oh, thank you, Miss Johnson.
Wait, maybe you better ask somebody for permission. To know a few simple words of mine spoken without even thinking started the whole ball rolling. You know, I wasn't even going to look at the news that night.
Just think of all the nights you never watched the news and all that hasn't happened as a result.
From now on, I'm going to watch it every night.
Mr. Blord, do you have a son or a daughter in school? The name doesn't quite connect.
I'm Bud Nagel's attorney.
I see. What can I do for you?
It's nothing serious, Mr. Kaufman. I'm not looking for any trouble. I'm a pacifist.
That's nice. Let's settle whatever it is on that basis. Have a seat?
Thank you. It's just that a few of your kids have been picketing Nagel Motors, and we'd like you to pull them off.
You'd like me to what?
Or else we'll have to get a restraining order. Maybe file an action against each of the kids, their parents, you, and the school board, of course.
It's a lot of filing. Assuming, of course, that it is illegal to stage a peaceful protest, which I wouldn't bet on, how do you figure to involve the school?
Ah, but they were taught populism and consumerism by a Mr. Dixon. He's a teacher of yours.
I know him well.
I wouldn't be surprised if those signs and the decorations on the bike weren't done on school premises.
Do I have the right to make one phone call to my attorney?
Mr. Nagel has a right to run his business without harassment. So I'm just asking you to have a word with your kids.
Mm-hmm. You forgot to say or else.
I never waste an or else.
Mr. Blord, why don't we both just say goodbye?
It's been a pleasure.
Well, Mr. Nagel threatened legal action. I say fight fire with fire.
Do you think we have a chance?
Well, I think the bike is too important to Ken, and the principle too important to all of us not to try.
Oh, Mr. Dixon, there you are. I've been looking for you. Mr. Kaufman wants you in the office right away.
Pete, this is Mr. Shigematsu, Mr. Dixon, one of Ken's teachers.
How do you do?
Mr. Dixon, I'm Executive Vice President of Togata Motors of America. I understand this Ken Hayashi has had some difficulties with one of our motorcycles.
Yes, he has, but he wrote you about it.
He did. And I received, let's see, a letter from Mrs. Crane, Consumer Advocate's office. Another, a gentleman from Business Guidance Bureau.
What do you know? It looks like they put a little pressure on after all.
They did me a favor. If we have a dealer who's out of line, I want to know about it.
Are you going to talk to Mr. Nagel?
Right now. Would you like to come along?
Well, I have a free period, and I can't think of anything better I'd like to do with it.
Look, Mr. Hayashi, I don't know what your son has told you, but I've had it.
I'm afraid I don't understand, Mr. Nagel.
Bud Nagel, like a nice guy. But frankly, I am losing my patience in this matter.
But, Mr. Nagel, I've looked over the cycle that Ken bought here, and I think its engine may have been defective.
Well, sure, because he ran it into a tree or something.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Look, Hayashi, this is my business. I mean, I'm an expert, and I don't think you're in any position to make a judgment like that.
But assuming the possibility of a defect, certainly your guarantee should cover it.
Our guarantee speaks for itself, sir.
Yes, I've read it. And if you don't mind my saying so, it consists mostly of loopholes.
I darn well do mind your saying so. Look, Hayashi, I'll make it simple. Your boy is a troublemaker, and so are you. Now, are you going to leave here quietly? Or do I invoke my legal rights and bounce you out of here?
No, I wouldn't dream of making trouble.
Good.
But tell me, Mr. Nagel, why do you keep calling me Hayashi?
That's your name, isn't it?
Not quite. As a matter of fact, not even close.
Hey, it's good to meet you, Dave.
Just call me Mr. Shigematsu.
Morning. Morning. How are you this morning?
Now that's a beautiful bike.
I have something that might interest you.
Dear Mr. Hayashi, just a note to let you know I haven't forgotten your problem with your motorcycle. I've written to Mr. Nagel and expect to hear from him shortly. When I do, you'll be the first to know. Sincerely, John Kirk, State Assemblyman.
If that doesn't inspire confidence in the democratic process, I don't know what will.
Well, if there are no further policy matters requiring my approval, I'll leave you all to your own work.
Yeah, thanks for your help, Mr. Reagan.
Oh, we're so busy, alas, and she their nas, and yet she seemed busier than she was.
There too she crendit and mock a thing. There could no wheat pinch at her writing.
Excellent, Bonnie, excellent. Ha-ha. Chaucer, what an inspiration to us all, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, now, is the fiction material for the next edition shaping up?
Oh, we have a few things ready.
Good. We'll be hard-pressed to equal that last issue. Real quality. Thanks for your story, my dear.
Thank you, Mr. Dragan.
Oh, Bonnie, listen, I don't want to knock your stuff, but Mr. Dragan just doesn't know what's going to sell ads for this sheet.
What do you mean?
I mean that I agreed to try to keep the blue and gold in the black by getting people to advertise. But that doesn't mean getting the local fish market or drugstore. I'm after big stuff. I'm going to need your help in building up the fiction department.
The fiction department is very strong.
By Bonnie Sherman. The butterfly hovered over the nodding daffodil, then chanced to be sent. His soft, pastel-colored wings beating the air ever so gently. Come on.
There's a symbolism there you're obviously missing.
Obviously, so is everyone else at Walt Whitman.
I doubt it.
Well, ask him. All you're really doing is writing for you and Mr. Dragan. And Chaucer, an inspiration to us all.
Pete, I just know this is one seminar that will be most stimulating.
I appreciate you thinking about me, kid.
Look, it says here, role-playing for effective learning. 2 full days, $15, including lunch.
Isn't that the weekend that I'm supposed to help you, Liz?
Oh, we talked about it, but I wouldn't stand in the way of you continuing your education. I got to split.
See you.
Bye.
I'll think it over, kid.
We could go on to the university together. No sense in taking 2 cars.
Shoot, hey. Don't you get too personal.
Hi. Hi. I want to ask you all something, very honestly.
Flat out?
Yes. Am I writing stories that nobody likes?
What story?
For the blue and gold.
The blue and gold, man, they can't even get the basketball scores straight.
You mean, do we like your stories? Not really. Nobody?
Nobody I talk to.
Why not? I guess because the things you write, well, they never seem to have anything to do with what's happening today, or to us.
I haven't read one in a while, but are you still doing the birds and flowers and that stuff?
I guess. I'm sorry, Bonnie, but you did ask.
Forget the flower jazz and get the basketball scores straight.
Mr. Dragan, the fiction department of the Blue and Gold isn't getting through.
Isn't getting through?
The kids I've been talking to just don't relate to our material.
Well, I feel we've always had first-quality fiction, but perhaps we have overestimated our readers.
Oh, I'm not suggesting we write down to them, but if we could experiment with stories that are more vital, immediate.
Yes, I like that. There should be an experimental aspect to our fiction. We should be able to bridge the gap and reach our audience.
I'm so glad you feel that way, Mr. Dragan. I've written a story I'd like you to read.
Oh, marvelous.
It's very different from anything I've ever done before, but I found it exciting.
Oh, I'm sure I will, too. I'll read it tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Dragan.
You'll always find me receptive to the exciting and the experimental, Bonnie. We must always continue to grow and to reach out. Well, enough of that. I'll say no more until I've read your story. Now to words spake Hay more than was need. Miss Sherman, Miss Bonnie Sherman, one moment, please.
Oh, hi, Mr. Dragan. Have you read my story yet?
I most certainly have. I've never had a more shocking or disillusioning experience in my life.
You didn't like it?
I found it conformed, unfortunately, to the standards of today, even to the explicit language.
But, Mr. Dragan, we agreed we should try something different.
This is the work of a confused and immature person. Certainly not a person to be entrusted with the fiction department of the Blue and Gold.
Mr. Dragan, I don't think that...
Miss Sherman, you are no longer on the staff in any capacity, effective immediately. Good morning.
What's with the reluctant Dragan?
He fired me from the Blue and Gold.
He fired you? Why? Did you misquote Chaucer? Did you put a comma where there should have been a semicolon?
I wrote a story.
Can I read it?
I don't care.
Hi.
Hey.
This is a beautiful story. You really like it? Mr. Dragan hated it.
Well, then you know it has to be good.
He actually fired you?
Can he do that?
In the bylaws of the Blue and Gold, there's something about a student being able to appeal any rule made by the faculty advisor.
Appeal to whom?
The principal.
Appeal. The publicity will double our circulation.
Bernie.
There's the whole question of censorship. Does Dragan have the right to decide what we can read? No way.
They can't do that to us.
Do what, Jason?
Whatever it is they're trying to do.
Well, it's very touching.
Yes, despite some of the situations, it really is moving.
Yeah, if it weren't for that word.
It's a tough position you're in. Tastes change, times change.
I still get in trouble with my grandmother if I say leg instead of limb in mixed company.
Most of those kids hear that word every day. I want to see what effect it really has on them. I mean, what do we really protect them from?
But does it belong in a school newspaper? I say it doesn't.
Oh, I agree with that.
So do I.
Well, thank you, folks. This is a very disturbing matter. It helps to get other people's opinions.
It's not easy to be a principal, is it?
It's not easy to be a good principal.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Kaufman?
Yes, Ken. Come in. Have a seat.
Thank you. I understand Bonnie Sherman has appealed my decision not to publish her story.
That's right. Ken, I've read that story. And after much soul searching, I've decided that I'm going to support you in the matter of that word.
Well, thank you. That story does not belong in the Blue and Gold.
I agree. However, I don't believe that it warrants Bonnie's dismissal from the newspaper staff.
Oh, I see.
Are there other circumstances that I'm unaware of?
No, I can't honestly say there are. The fact of the matter is I probably did act in haste and without due consideration.
It's not like you, Ken.
No. It's not, is it?
Bonnie, I've discussed your appeal with Mr. Dragan, and I'm happy to say that he's been more than fair in assessing his part of the situation.
Yes, I acted hastily in dismissing you, Bonnie. The newspaper needs you. I hope you'll forget what I said and come back.
I'd like to, Mr. Dragan.
Well, that's great. I wish all our problems could be solved that easily.
What about my story? Are you going to publish it?
I've reconsidered that. I reread your story, and though it's not my bag, as the saying goes, it does have literary merit according to today's tastes. So if you'll just remove that one objectionable word, the answer is yes, we will publish it.
I'm sorry. I can't accept your offer to reinstate me as editor.
Bonnie, it seems unfortunate that one word should create such a problem.
I agree with you, Mr. Kaufman.
I would hope that there'd be some way to work it out.
I don't see how. Not under these conditions.
Which particular conditions are you referring to?
Censorship.
I see. Bonnie, is this going to become a major issue on this campus?
I don't like to think so, Mr. Kaufman, but I do.
How did I know she was going to say that? Very kind of you to have lunch with me, Pete.
Oh, why?
Well, you risk your popularity being seen in public with the censor.
I'll take that chance.
Mr. Kaufman.
Yes, yes.
You won't believe what's happening in the students' cafeteria unless you see it with your own eyes.
Well, then I better see it.
Not one student has been in for lunch today. Not one.
All right. I see it. I believe it.
Why?
A boycott. A protest against some sort of censorship. What am I going to do with all this food?
Can't you store it?
I haven't got the space. I've got 500 sandwiches, thousands of French fries, and yards of rice pudding.
Well, Miss Evans, you're welcome to use all the drawers on the right-hand side of my desk. After that, you're on your own.
Man, this is really something.
Best boycott we ever had.
I'm talking about my sandwich, man. The boycott's cool.
It's a tribute to you, Bonnie, not to me, to what we're fighting for.
If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be fighting.
Can you imagine how militant he'd be if he really read the paper? If they had any doubts about where we all stand, this should give them the message.
We should set up a timetable to strike against selected classes.
Starting with Mr. Dragan.
Yeah, and if they don't agree to publish, then a general strike.
It sounds good to me.
I hope they hold out that long, because the publicity would be great for circulation. And when
Bonnie, we're fighting for a principle.
Well, that's right. I keep forgetting.
Considering what's going on at Whitman now, this might be a good time to discuss this man. Who was he?
He published a newspaper in New York in colonial times. And he's called the father of freedom of the press in America.
Why?
Zinger kept writing editorials against the governor of New York, so the governor had him thrown in jail.
What happened after that?
The judge said he was wrong for printing the editorials, whether they were true or not. But the jury said he wasn't, and that established the principle of freedom of the press.
Hey, man, that's just what we're fighting for here at Walt Whitman.
Are you trying to tell us something, Mr. Dixon?
No. I'm just relating past history to present events.
Do you agree with what we're doing?
Well, if I were you, I'd consider the issue carefully before you decide to go to the wall.
We have thought about it.
And we're ready to go.
Then you go.
I must tell you, Mr. Kaufman, when I read that story, I couldn't believe our daughter had written it.
Well, in many ways, it's an exceptional story.
The language. I was really shocked.
Well, then, perhaps you can appreciate my position. The reason I asked you to come in was to try to get your help in heading off an action that the students are contemplating. One that I think would only create dissension between students and faculty and ultimately be bad for everyone.
You mean the possibility of a student strike?
Yes. I thought if we got together, the three of us and Bonnie, that we could come up with some solution to avoid a strike.
We wouldn't like to see it happen either, Mr. Kaufman. We also do feel, however, that there is a very serious constitutional issue involved here, in an area both of us have always been very concerned about.
Oh.
Yes. Censorship.
Right. Even though we completely understand your position, we feel that we'd have no choice but to give Bonnie our full support.
In what way exactly?
Well, I think it would work to the school's advantage, actually, by taking the issue out of the school and into the courts.
The courts?
Yes. We're going to sue you on Bonnie's behalf for what we believe are her very important constitutional rights.
You're going to sue me? You mean you're going out and get a lawyer and sue me?
I am a lawyer, Mr. Kaufman.
Oh, that makes it easier, doesn't it?
I'll talk to Mr. Dragan about it. Hi. Oh, did you talk to your lawyer?
Yeah.
Can he be sued?
Well, there seem to be plenty of precedents. There was a principal in New York who refused to allow an article to be published in the school newspaper because he considered it obscene. Students sued. Principal lost.
What'd your lawyer suggest?
He says stay out of court. Because if I win, I'm a big oppressor, and if I lose, I'm a loser. Also, the school board's not going to be too thrilled about the publicity, but right now I'm more concerned with my conscience than theirs.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to go home, see if I can get there before my lawyer's bill. Morning.
Oh, I heard the bad news.
I don't suppose I need to ask what news.
I handled it badly myself right from the beginning, and if I hadn't, you wouldn't be in this situation right now.
Well, you did what you thought was best at the time. Ultimately, any question of censorship has to be my responsibility. But thanks anyhow.
Oh, Mr. Kaufman.
Morning, Miss Evans.
I'm so glad to see you. I heard you were arrested.
I don't think so.
Oh, Mr. Kaufman. I heard about you being dragged into court.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, Miss Johnson.
Well, listen, I'll do anything I can to help. Yeah, I've been to court.
You have? What were the charges against you?
Oh, I wasn't on trial. I was testifying as a character witness for a friend of mine. I'd be glad to do the same for you.
Well, I'll certainly keep that in mind.
Hey, you know, with all that's been happening to you, it's as if you got that chain letter and threw it away instead of me.
Almost, yes.
Well, listen, if you need me, I'll be there.
Thank you.
Oh, I could have avoided so much for $2 in stamps.
Why should you want my opinion? I'm not on the staff.
Oh, I know, but I don't think we would have ever been offered this material before you began your fight to promote freedom of the press. So that's why I think that you're better qualified than most to judge. Now, if you wouldn't mind just taking a quick look at one or two, I've marked the appropriate passages.
All right. Mr. Dragan, this is terrible.
Do you think so?
This one's even worse. Students wrote these?
These are the better ones, in my opinion.
Well, you can't compare these to my story.
Well, that same word occurs there, and there, and there.
But these things have no literary value.
In your opinion?
Yes, in my opinion.
Then if it were left to you and you decided not to publish these submissions, wouldn't you be violating freedom of the press?
That's not an easy question to answer, Mr. Dragan.
Oh, I know. One man's freedom of expression may very well be another man's obscenity. But where does one draw the line, Bonnie? You know, when a man has the power to exercise authority arbitrarily, but does so wisely and with restraint, he's a very rare man. And we're quite fortunate to have such a man here at Walt Whitman. I'm referring, of course, to our Mr. Kaufman. But then, of course, that's just my opinion.
A little while ago, Mr. Dragan showed me some stories that have been submitted to the Blue and Gold since we started our fight.
Everybody's getting interested, getting involved.
Well, they were terrible. It would be wrong if the paper had to publish that kind of stuff because of me, because of our fight.
That sounds like the beginnings of a cop-out.
Right. They're getting to you. Don't listen to them.
This isn't them against us. This is Bonnie Sherman writing a story. Mr. Kaufman drawing a line because it's his job and defending his decision with dignity.
I mean, you're calling it off, right?
I'm asking my parents to call off the suit. If you all feel that I've let you down or sold out, I'm sorry.
Well, there goes our circulation, our advertising, our publicity.
Bernie.
I know. It's the principle. Sue me.
I don't know if you're doing the best thing, Bonnie, but I think you're doing the right thing. Thanks.
When you believe in something, you do it, no matter what it costs. You can't knock that.
Listen, something good may come out of this anyhow.
Like what?
Like maybe you'll start reading the Blue and Gold.
When they start getting the basketball scores straight. Maybe.
Hi, Alice. Don't interrupt me. I don't know how much time I have.
How much time for what?
To get 25 letters in the mail before I get caught in another round of disasters.
Does this have to do with that chain letter?
I got another one. They're giving me a second chance.
I thought you didn't believe in that kind of superstition.
Well, I really don't.
Well, then what are you doing all this for?
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't. It's a waste of time. Isn't it?
I think so.
That settles it. I won't do it.
Very good, Miss Johnson.
Thanks. You know, without your support, I might not have been able to do that. See you later.
And out here, Gary's 9 years old here, yeah. I had that special made by a tailor in Tokyo. I think we still got that packed away someplace.
Gary's mother's very pretty.
Oh, yeah. And she's beautiful. Very smart, too. Of course, she had her own way of doing things. In fact, she reminds me of Gary in that respect. I always wish Gary had known her a little better.
Yeah, me too.
What's this?
Well, you can see there, it's just a couple of clowns. We buried each other in the sand. But it looks like one body with the two heads there, see? That was taken in France. You know, we've seen a lot of the world together.
And I take it, got an education in the process, huh?
I hope so.
Well, Gary's doing just fine in history.
That's good. You know, I think it's very valuable for a military man to be good at history.
Dad saw Patton 4 times.
Well, I knew the man. I met him once. You'll see what I mean about that history, though, when you get to West Point.
Is it tough to get an appointment these days?
Well, it's pretty tough, but I can take care of that as long as Gary handles those entrance exams.
I will.
You know, the Army is somewhat like a big corporation today, Mr. Dixon. I'm just a foreman myself, but we're hoping when Gary's my age, he'll be on top, maybe have one of those big executive offices.
I wonder what's going to happen to you and your enthusiasm when I outrank you. Start giving out the orders.
Gary tells me that you're going on some kind of high school speaking tour.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, the now Army wants me to do a little recruiting up in San Francisco. As a matter of fact, I was wondering if you'd be interested.
No, thank you. I've already served my time.
I was afraid you'd say that. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Nice talking to you.
Bye.
See you later, Gary.
Bye.
What are you guys looking at?
Enemy at 12 o'clock.
Oh, man, you're in for it now. You just wanted John Wayne, and that makes him mad.
Don't you guys ever get tired of kidding around?
A good officer never loses his sense of humor.
Okay, I give up.
He ain't even in the Army yet, and already he's surrendering. Man, you're the first cat I ever knew that wanted to get in.
Well, that's because him and Joyce want to get married under crossed swords.
Now, wait a minute, guys. I just date the girl. Besides, a West Point cadet can't be married.
Oh, that's what makes him so mean.
Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Are you meeting Joyce?
No, she's not in school today. She's got a bad cold. Hey, you're out of step.
I have a right to know. Look, I'll be right over. I don't care. I'm going to be right over.
Oh, you finished?
You know, I really don't think it's right for the guests to do the dishes.
Well, I made the dinner.
I threw away the can.
Look, I admit I only have one specialty, but I made it.
That's right, you did. And I did promise to share in the chores.
Right.
So your half of the dirty dishes are still in the sink. I was just kidding. Well, what shall we talk about? The merits of grading on a curve as compared with pass and fail?
I hope we can do better than that.
Somebody's at the door.
Mr. Dixon?
Oh, hi, Gary. What brings you here?
Well, I was wondering if I could talk to you for a minute.
Well, come on in.
Hello, Gary.
Hi, Miss McIntyre. I'm sorry, I didn't know you had company. I can talk to you tomorrow.
Gary, would you rather talk to Mr. Dixon alone?
Well, would you mind?
No, I can go for a walk.
No, wait a minute. Please stay, Miss McIntyre. Maybe you can help.
Okay.
Come on in. Sit down. Okay, what's on your mind?
Well, you know Joyce Parker?
Yeah, she was in my class last semester.
Yeah. Well, she and I have sort of been going together for a while, you know, and, well, she's pregnant.
Are you sure?
Yeah, she found out today.
She hadn't said anything to me about it, you know. I went over there this afternoon to talk to her, but I had a bad scene with her parents.
Well, you can't expect them not to be upset.
Yeah, but can't they at least act like people you can talk to? I mean, I told them that I intend to accept full responsibility for this whole thing, you know. But I gotta talk to Joyce. I mean, we understand each other. We'll work things out and we'll get married.
Do you love each other?
Well, sure we love each other. I mean, she's a terrific girl. We have little private jokes and everything, you know. We really get along. Yeah, we love each other. If they just give us half a chance, everything will be fine.
When does your father get back?
Day after tomorrow.
Does he know about this?
No, not yet.
Well, don't you think you better call him?
Yeah, I guess so.
You're welcome to use the phone in my bedroom.
No. I think, I'll probably wait and call him at home.
You know, that's not going to be an easy phone call for Gary to make.
It's not going to be an easy phone call for Gary's father to get.
Well, Pete and I figured you'd want to be aware of it.
Thanks. Of course, pretty soon everybody will know. This kind of news gets around.
Mr. Kaufman, I know we're not supposed to, but isn't there any advice? I mean, any way we could counsel them?
Liz, the rule says the school cannot get involved in family matters. You know that.
But we know some of these kids better than their own families do.
That's right. You know, this has happened at every school I've ever been to, and every time it happens, I just get more frustrated.
And we're supposed to guide.
Well, I console myself by asking if I could get involved. What would I tell them anyhow? What would you tell them?
I don't know. Each case is so different.
I mean, nobody was answering the phone, so I thought I'd go over there, you know? And one of the neighbors said that Joyce and her parents just drove off last night. They just took off.
Do you have any idea where they might have gone?
I don't know. I mean, I can't figure it out. How am I supposed to get things together with Joyce if I can't even talk to her? And what about me, my rights? I mean, it's my kid, too. They shouldn't just go off.
What's your dad say?
Well, he's cutting his trip short. He's going to be back late today. He didn't say too much, but I could tell he was pretty mad. But he'll come around, though. I mean, I'm doing the right thing. And he's always been pretty big on that.
Sure he is.
You know, at first it seemed like I was doing the right thing, but now I know everything's going to work out. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it, you know? I mean, I've been, going to school for 12 years? It'd be nice to look forward to a change.
There's a lot more to it than just change. You're talking about a whole new way of life.
Yeah, I know. But I can take the responsibility. I can take care of a wife and kid. I'll go to school at nighttime and, work during the day.
A lot of people have done it, but it's no picnic.
I'm really looking forward to it. And being a father. I mean, I'm pretty handy around the house. I can even cook a little. You cook?
A little?
Probably make some of the furniture. Better start with a crib.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things you're going to need.
I wonder if it's going to be a boy or a girl.
I want to know what you've been telling my son.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't like some holier-than-thou school teacher telling my boy what to do about his future.
Well, what's it got to do with me?
You're the one he went to when I went away. Now he's talking about getting married.
Well, did Gary say that was my idea?
No, he didn't say that. But kids are influenced by people they admire. You know that.
I know. And Sergeant Webster, you're the one that Gary admires the most. And it's your influence that he feels.
You didn't push him a little?
I didn't push him at all. Marriage is Gary's idea. Well, I didn't try to talk him out of it. I didn't try to talk him into it either. The only advice that I gave Gary was to go talk to you.
You told him that?
Yes, I did.
Well, he came to me, all right, started telling me about these new ideas he's got. Well, I'm telling you, he's messing up his life if he marries that girl.
You mean as far as West Point is concerned?
That's right. Look, they don't have to have this kid. This isn't 1920. There are ways of handling things like this. I mean, legal ways.
I think Gary's aware of that.
I'm sorry for flying off the handle like that. We had a fight last night, and we speak this morning. I don't think I can get through to him.
Sergeant Webster talking isn't enough. Try listening.
Yeah, listening to a kid who's about to throw his life away. You know, this West Point thing doesn't come up every day. Now, I may just be a master sergeant, but my boy is going to West Point. He's going to be an officer in the United States Army. That's been our dream since he was a little kid. Now, can't you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Well, maybe if you talk to him, you could convince him of what's right. I mean, he does respect you.
Sergeant Webster, as much as he may respect me, I'm only his history teacher. He's your son.
Thanks a lot.
From what you tell me, Sergeant Webster seems more concerned about Gary the cadet than Gary the son.
I doubt that he sees the difference.
Gary seems to have a mature attitude. Even if he's not ready to be a husband and a father, he's acting with responsibility.
I wonder.
What do you mean?
Well, Gary says that he wants to do the right thing. That usually means doing what's expected. Is it what he really wants?
Or what Joyce Parker wants? You know, he seems to have made this decision without even consulting her. Hey, how old are these kids anyhow?
Gary's 17 and Joyce is 18.
Well, then she's legally an adult. She has all the options.
That's right. Gary's got responsibilities and obligations, no rights. Does he realize that, Pete?
I don't know.
She can choose custody, adoption. She can do what she wants. She can leave school if she wants to.
But if she wanted to finish, she'd have to go to Cunningham, wouldn't she?
I'm afraid so. She wouldn't be allowed to continue at Whitman while she was pregnant, even if she wanted to.
Maybe she'll want to get married.
And maybe she's already terminated the pregnancy. She's been away a day and a half.
Hey, Mr. Dixon?
Oh, Gary.
Hi.
Joyce still out of town?
Yeah. Why do you suppose that is, Mr. Dixon?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to work things out.
Yeah, well, I don't think they should work anything out without me. I'm the father. I mean, he's my kid, too.
That's true, but do you know what your legal rights are in a situation like this?
No. What are they?
You don't have any.
I don't have any legal rights?
Not at 17.
Well, what kind of a deal is that?
It's a rough deal, but that's the law. So maybe your father can be of help.
I won't need any legal rights. Did get a chance to see my father today?
We talked.
I suppose you noticed his way of changing the rules as he goes along.
What do you mean?
He always told me to act with honor, to do the right thing, and then when I do, he tells me I'm wrong.
Well, after 17 years of planning on West Point, maybe he's a little disappointed.
Yeah, well, I'm a little disappointed, too. I guess I was kidding myself when I told you that he'd understand.
You give him a chance.
Well, why should I give him a chance? All he did today was yell at me about how am I going to support a family? How am I going to get an education, you know? Am I being fair to Joyce and our baby?
Don't you think those things really matter?
Well, yeah, but it's more like a cop-out for him. It's like a convenient excuse for me not to marry Joyce, you know? I'm going to raise my kid differently. You know, I'm really looking forward to that. You know, being able to influence somebody.
It can be rewarding.
Right. I mean, that's a father's job. I mean, it's a full-time job, too, to teach a kid respect for self. I mean, that's an important word to me, Mr. Dixon. I mean, by helping Joyce, I'll be helping myself to respect myself.
You certainly don't sound like you've been brought up by someone who runs away from things. You want to lift home?
No, thanks. I'm gonna stay with a friend tonight. Thanks anyway.
Where did you get that? From Miss Johnson, man. She's trying to get us interested in the classics.
Yeah, well, I'm interested. Read me some more.
Okay, here's from The Tale of Two Cities.
That thing by Dickens, right?
Not so you know it, man. It's a far, far groovier gig than I ever dug before. It's a far, far groovier way than I ever crashed before.
Hey, man, where you going?
Joyce is back. I just talked to her. She wants me to come right over. Hey, say hi to her for me, will you? Okay, I will, Bernie. Hey, thanks a lot for letting me spend the night last night, especially after what happened yesterday. Oh, that's okay. I'll let my good friends push me around. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Okay, see you later. Okay, see you later.
I guess getting married is better than the Army.
Yeah, I guess. A little.
Hi, Mr. Kaufman.
Morning, Miss Johnson.
This'll only take a minute.
Why don't we have a seat in case it takes a lot longer?
Well, now, Mr. Kaufman, I don't want you to say yes until you've thought about it.
I promise I won't.
What would you say if I told you I've come up with a whole new concept of education?
Well, why not? Everybody else has.
Well, read for yourself. One reading's worth 1,000 words.
One reading of selected poems and prose?
Mm-hmm. It's in the language of the streets. You know, the way people talk.
What people? On what streets?
Everywhere.
Oh.
Oh, no, don't read it now. Wait till you get home and give it your undivided attention.
Oh, Gary?
Hi, Mr. Dixon.
A little late, aren't you? Class was over 3 hours ago.
Yeah, I know. I cut today.
So, what's happening?
Well, Joyce got back this morning. I talked to her today.
Well, how is she?
She's okay. I talked to her parents, too.
Are they a little more relaxed now?
Yeah. Mr. Dixon, Joyce is going to put the baby up for adoption.
Oh, that must be heavy for you.
Yeah, she doesn't want to get married. She says she doesn't love me. She doesn't think it would be fair for either one of us or the baby.
Well, maybe under those circumstances, she's right.
Yeah, I guess so. But, Mr. Dixon, you realize I'll never even get to see my own baby? And there's nothing I can do about it, is there?
I'm afraid not.
She even said the same things my father said about supporting a family, not being able to get an education.
Gary, you know, this isn't going to be easy for her either. Having a baby, then giving it up.
I guess not.
Let me ask you something. If this hadn't happened and you had gone on to West Point, do you think that you and Joyce would have gotten married after you graduated?
I don't know. I doubt it. We probably wouldn't even have known each other by then.
Something to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Mr. Dixon. The whole thing stinks. But the way things are, it's the best thing to do. Yeah, the right thing.
Well, can I give you a lift home? Or are you staying with a friend?
Oh, no, I'm going home, all right.
Oh, Sergeant.
Dixon.
Hi, dear.
Everything all right?
Well, I'll tell you about it on the way home. Okay?
All right. Look, I'd like to apologize for some of the things I said the other day, and thank you for doing what I should have done myself.
What's that?
Listening instead of talking.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Dixon.
Thanks again.
You mean you really can't see it? No, I can't. I just don't think it'll accomplish what you want it to. It doesn't make you want to go out and read the classics? No. It makes me want to watch television.
Oh, there's Mr. Kaufman.
Miss Johnson.
Hi, Mr. Kaufman. Well, what'd you think?
What I thought... Well, let me put it this way, Miss Johnson. I think the idea of approaching the students in an oblique way to interest them in the classics, which they wouldn't be interested in otherwise, I think it's a good idea.
But
I have read this volume from cover to cover, and...
And?
Well, look. When Edgar Allan Poe wrote it, the Raven said, "Nevermore." Doesn't that sound great? Nevermore. I mean, I just can't reconcile myself to no way, man.